I know people want to know. So are you married? Are you single? Are you dating? I know you ain't got no kids.
No kids, no children's, none. Um, Spiritual ones, but no children.
Yeah.
I am single.
Okay. Do you want to get married, or do you believe that you are married to the church?
I'm married to the church, and I'm gonna get me another one too. Uh,
Okay. Okay.
yes, yes, yes. So yes is a simple answer. Yes. I was getting ready to give a whole explanation, but the answer to the question is yes. Like, I'm a big believer in right fits, and I see so many people who sit in my seat, that they have a pressure on them that I don't have, and that pressure is I gotta get in a relationship.
I
I
gotta get a
gotta
wife.
get married, gotta get a wife, gotta get wifed up. Um,
Right.
I got, and I don't have that pressure, and that's because I believe in fits. And part of that, twofold. One, because I counsel many of them on the back end of bad marriage decisions.
Mhm.
Number two, I think one of the greatest things, and I want to say this is like I want to say this is um, humbly as possible,
Mhm.
but it's you make different decisions when there is more than you that you have to protect and keep in mind.
100%. I'm not a pastor, but I can say that as a single mom.
Right. Exactly. So you're not just going to let I was going to say a name, but I don't want people to think I'm calling it like actual days. But you have to let some
No,
regular.
I've been divorced 5 years, and no man that I'm dating has ever met my son. Like, no.
See, see,
Yeah.
and again, because you have something to protect that's bigger than you. And I think when you do that, when you look at people who have had levels of accomplishment, achievement, whatever, something they need to protect, it is not just going to be a decision of, oh, well, we're just going to see and try it out. Like, it is a much more deliberate process, but the same process and principles of dating I teach are the same process and principles of dating that I use. And so, it's just I don't have that pressure. And I don't let people put that pressure on me. I don't let culture put that pressure on me. I don't let I don't let anything put that pressure on me. I just don't.
And I think that's really, really beautiful. It's beautiful to live emancipated of other people's expectations, and
Mhm.
to also live with a standard of excellence, which, if anyone knows anything about you, even a modicum about you, they'll discover that excellence is woven throughout your life, not just in your public life, but it's also in your private life. So movies,
Yes.
I think it's part of why you and I are connected, is because you really have a very deep appreciation for movies, and you use, as you mentioned, you use contemporary music and movies often to help bridge the gap between today and the truth of the Bible
Yeah.
that was written, 2000 years ago. But one of the things that you often refer to are movies. And so
Yes.
I want to say, what is your favorite movie and why?
Hands down. What's love got to do with it?
What's love got to do with it? Angela Bassett, Lawrence Fishburne.
You hear me? You hear me what I said? Woman, you hear me what I said? No.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Eat the cake, anime.
Eat the cake.
Anime Bullock. So tell me
You didn't mess
why
up a
was,
perfectly fine automobile.
oh my gosh. So you can tell you've seen it a lot, and
Oh,
it
I
is
know
your
that
favorite.
movie.
So tell me why that film.
Great question. So, really, a couple of things. One, I love biographies. I love seeing anybody else's life. Like, there's a false narrative that says experience is the best teacher. Lie, fake news, lie.
Yeah,
Like,
you can
yes,
avoid stuff if you watch other people's lives.
look at other people's lives,
Yeah.
learn from other people's mistakes, failures, etc. So, I love biographies, period. And so, the movie really, in many ways, is that. Number two, I love seeing a good story of an overcomer. And I'm just going to keep it 100 to see her as a woman overcome that, when she overcame that, to deal with that, there's that. And then thirdly, it's very personal for me because I watched my mother overcome that. I watched her overcome domestic violence, womanizing, abuse. I watched her in that seat. So in many ways, I can relate to much of that movie because I've seen that type of man.
Mm.
I have seen that type of situation. I have seen, like, I relate to it in so many ways. To this point, I can watch that movie today, and I've seen it who knows how many times. I can watch that movie today and still get mad when I'm watching that movie. Like, that's right, hit him back, hit him in the limo scene. Like,
In the
get
back
him,
of
get
the
him.
limo.
Oh, I mean, I'm talking to the screen. Like,
Yeah.
it's the whole thing, because I can relate to much of that. And growing up, seeing that,
Right.
I have such an appreciation for women and men now, because you got some women beating up
Yes.
men now.
Yes.
You know, but I have such an appreciation for women who have to overcome that, and who deal with so much, and have to overcome so much, and then the struggles of a man, because then there's that whole depth,
Right.
that there's something that creates a man like that. There's something
Yes.
that creates a mentality like that. There's so many levels of depth that I can relate to in that movie, and that's why that movie is my favorite, hands down. There's tons of great movies, but that one, I know that one inside and out. I know virtually every line. I even joke sometimes, and we've acted out some of the
Yes.
scenes and all of that. But I just, that's just the way I am. I love that movie.
I mean, I'm so glad that you mentioned the male aspect of it, because yes, what Angela Bassett went through in that movie, and as you said, you witnessed that in real life with your own mom, that definitely is something to have compassion and empathy for, and be outraged by.
Right.
But I do think that having the same empathy, and not excusing the behavior, but also understanding what makes a man deal and act out and rage and oppress the way that I did. I think it's an important component to helping to heal our men in our lives, because I think that there's a lot, like you said, there's a lot of layers. I read recently in a meme, I read recently that anger is sadness's bodyguard.
Wow, I like that.
And I thought that's very true. I think that people who are walking around with that kind of rage, they have such a sadness about them that they don't know what to do with that. They don't know what to do with it. So,
Absolutely.
you often talk about your mom, and now obviously people will know why. And you talk about her in your messages. Tell me about your relationship a little bit.
Sure, we're close. We talk every day.
Wow.
He sends me 400 texts a day with TikTok and YouTube.
Spoken like
He
a
sends me
true
400
son.
texts a day.
Oh my gosh. That's gonna be Varro, by the way. I'm sure he's gonna be like, oh, mom.
Right. And just for those that that's your son. For those that don't know, that's your son.
Yo, yes, I'm sorry. That's my son.
Right. I mean, she's and not 400, but she sends lots of texts every day. We talk every day, and we're close. And I appreciate that. And one of the greatest things, and I've said this before in messages, one of the greatest things my mother ever did was, and I'm going to say it this way and then explain it. She got out of my way. And let me explain that. As a young man, sometimes the temptation when you're a mom, where you're essentially virtually a single mom,
Right.
because of a variety of factors, man not in the house, man not doing the job, what have you,
Right.
incarcerations and a variety of different things. When you're essentially a single mom, the temptation can be to overcompensate what's not there.
Right.
And she didn't do that. The temptation can be, I gotta just get some man in here so that they have a man. She didn't do that. The greatest thing she did was let me develop and grow. And so, in full transparency, there were things that I would do that, I mean, like, at one point I learned how to do her signature.
Oh, wow. See, he already told us he was bad. He told us he was bad. He said he was bad, he was good, he was spiritual. So there's some of the
all at the same time. So I learned how to do a signature at one point. So at a certain point, there were certain things that was like, I'll just tell her about it. And, that's probably a little bit too much, but it's the truth.
Right.
It's the truth. And for everybody watching, don't y'all be like, I can't believe that, because some of y'all.
Yeah.
And I was
Oh,
a
I used to sign my dad's signature when I
kid.
didn't when I wanted to take a day off from school. I would write myself a note and sign his signature. Yep.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. There we go. Boom. Transparency. So I did. I mean, I did. And sometimes she get calls about stuff, and I basically pull her in like, so-and-so's gonna call you and tell you this, and you
Oh
and
my
I didn't do
God.
that, that type of thing. But she allowed me to develop. One of the funniest stories, listen to this. So it was a Wednesday night after church, and we had a bunch of, and I was in, I don't know if I was in junior high school. I don't remember. Probably getting ready to go into high school. I don't remember. I don't remember. But it was a bunch of musical. I think I was in high school. A bunch of, because I was driving, so I had to be in high school. It was a bunch of musical people and stuff. We had a bunch of musical guests and stuff that night. So that night after church, we were going to eat. Well, the protocol was that I went home after church. That night, I decided I was going to eat with everybody. And my phone, and I don't remember whether or not my phone was legit messing up or if it was messing up.
Right.
I don't remember. So for the sake of honesty in the story, I don't recall. But let me tell you something. All of a sudden, the manager of that restaurant walks over to the table and then says, "Is so-and-so here at the table?" I was like, he said, "Yeah, I got your mom on the phone for you."
Whoa. She tracked you down.
Oh my God. And I put the phone up to my ear, and let's just say I quickly concluded my evening. And I quickly got
bring your behind forth.
listen.
Yes.
That type of a thing. But so there was that. But I was one of the greatest things she did was she really allowed me to develop, allowed me to grow. I was doing business stuff. I started my first business when I was 12. I was doing business stuff. I was going to meetings, and basically I was just like, here's my agenda, here's my schedule. I need to be here at this time and over here at this time. And me, the type of person I am, I didn't like depending on anyone to do anything. So I would figure it out. I'd be like, so and so's gonna come drop me after this, so-and-so's gonna do this, I'm gonna catch this bus to go do this. Like I just figured it out. Like I remember when it was time to get my first car at 16, I basically went through the thing and I said, this is the car I want. I already have the money. I just need you. I'm not grown, so I need a pay stub. I need your social security number and all of that so we can get the paperwork done. So when we go get the car, we're good. Like that's the kind of kid that I was,
right.
In that interaction with her. So the greatest thing she did, she let me develop and there's a difference between covering and smothering.
Woo! Yeah, that's the word.
She covered, but she didn't smother.
Amen.
So that allowed me to develop into, this lion man, if you will.
Yes.
It allowed me to develop into that so that I learned how to make things happen. And it was one of the greatest ways she could have approached that.
I love that. Okay, so you brought it up. I'm gonna ask what the lion. Yeah, the lion. You have lion on your ring, and you're wearing a lion shirt. So tell us about. It's not because you're a Leo, because your birthday is in October.
Right. And people always ask me, they're like, "You're a Leo, aren't you?" Like, actually,
like,
no.
I'm a man of God.
Right.
I don't consult the stars.
No.
Anyway, so tell us about the lion.
So I just have always loved, from a biblical standpoint, Jesus is referred to as the Lion of the tribe of Judah. But I just like the imagery, the strength, like even going to Lion King, Mufasa, like
right.
I was always infatuated with lions. There's strength, there's dominance, their authoritative nature. Don't nobody mess with lions. The only thing that messes with a lion is a hyena. It's his only natural enemy.
Yeah.
And which
that's Barrow's favorite animal, by the way, the
hyena. Oh, so we'd be like this, right? But see, they don't make hyena shirts.
No.
You got to get them converted. They don't make hyena shirts. But like that was my thing. So I love the strength and the imagery. And there's a scripture that says the righteous are as bold as a lion. Remember, I told you that shy thing?
Yes.
Because that's how it was. And I used to perspire a lot too.
Okay.
And so I was shy and I perspired a lot coming up. And so like it was just a horrible combination. So
right, anxiety, you'd have to walk around like this. Yeah.
Yes, I was like this, right, going everywhere. And there was that type of a thing. But I really, really, really looked to the line, sidelines everywhere, not just line ring, not just shirts, not just bracelets. And anybody knows me knows that. But I got lines. There's lines over there in the entrance to a studio. There's lines outside of my office. There's a huge line photo oil deal in my office. Like I just have lines everywhere. So I love them because they remind me to stay bold.
Woo, yes.
They remind me to stay bold because the area I'm in, just honestly, it's a different type of manhood in the area that I'm in. And so you don't see a lot of strong Black men in this area. And so sometimes you can kind of get lullabied and you can get, reduced down. It doesn't take all that, but that's who I am. Like I was created to be a strong man that sees things, that get done, that builds people up, but gets things done. And so the lion really is a reminder. It's easy to just fall into that, kind of going type thing, but that's not really who I am. But
there's nothing passive about a lion, and nothing.
No, I mean, no, it ain't no little kitty cat. It ain't no.
Yeah. So, okay, I only have a few more questions because I know we've been here for a minute, but I do want to ask, since you talked about, how one of the ways that you've used to overcome your shyness, you've suffered disappointments.
Sure.
Obviously, as a leader and as a pastor, tell me some of the ways that you're able to overcome the disappointments of the disloyal, because I would imagine that, as a leader and a pastor, and we talked about this earlier, so much gets done as a result of teamwork, right? As a result of everyone kind of working together towards the common vision in service of the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure you've been doing this for over a decade. I'm sure that it's happened where people have disappointed you. So how do you recover from that and continue to lead, and also trust that other people will be able to rise and fulfill the place?
That is such a good question. So I'll be honest, that's been an evolution. Because the way I used to handle things like that, I took it very personal. I was hurt very deeply because I loved very deeply. And you don't discover the level of love you can give until you discover the level of hurt you can receive. The depth of your wounds really reveal the extent of your love. And so that's just the way it was. I can remember one day, real talk, I can remember one day sitting up, and there was a scenario going on, and there were some of the leaders that were very close. And I've always, since I was a kid, I've always believed in pouring into others, mentoring, and that would evolve into a level, the spiritual fathering, which just means to speak life into those and to build and develop and shape and pour. Like even in Harvest, that's why we call them life-giving messages. Sermons, that's an intentionality because it's to give life, to speak life. I remember one day, and I was sitting, and we were all sitting, and we were in the room, and I remember crying like a baby. Like I was a whole grown man. Oh my God, like, why are you doing this? And I mean, like the it's a real cry, when your body cries. Exactly. Like it wasn't just tears, like it was a body cry. Like my body, yada was crying. Body yada was crying.
Oh boy.
My body was crying. And I remember sobbing and sitting there in front of these people who I was their leader. And I remember sobbing. And so I remember going through instances like that. And they were in those moments, it was very painful because you always think you're going to be the different one. Like I was determined to be the different pastor. I was like, I am going to spend time, and I am going to develop, and I'm going to invest, and I'm going to be personally involved in the development of these people's lives to see better. And I had to evolve and really refine not just how I did it, but what I was doing. And can I be honest? I discovered that a lot of what I was doing was helping to fulfill the desire in me to be needed. Because every man has that desire. Every leader has that desire. Every leader has some level of a superhero complex. And so in those instances, I was like, here
I am to say,
right.
Yeah.
And so there were so many layers to it. So I realized those wounds helped me to see what in me needed to be redirected.
Yes.
So there's nothing wrong with that. It just needs to be redirected into a different area. And so, I've evolved in that. I mean, I used to take it very personally, used to be very emotional. And then I would say now, I view that as, you know what, it's part of the journey, comes with the seat. It's celebrate when people are with you, and celebrate when they're not. Celebrate when they come,
Right.
celebrate when they go.
Right.
Because then too, there was a level of petty. And when I say petty, I don't mean that in a negative way, but it was this thinking of, I have to throw out all the bad or all the good because of the bad.
Right.
Now realizing, no, I can chew the meat and spit the bone.
And spit out the bones. Yeah.
Celebrate the good stuff while throwing out the negativity, and remember the lesson, but forget the pain. Some of that stuff was I mean, the depth that some people would go to, and a lot of the times it was because I was dealing with individuals who there was layers of trauma, and everybody's got that, layers of issues. And so there's a fear of rejection. So I come around this man who is, who through God's grace has accomplished and done some things. And I value his opinion. I value what he says. I value his voice. And there's this fear of rejection. Like, I don't want him to reject me. And so let me quit him before he can quit me.
Yeah. Self-sabotage is
exactly. And I saw that happen so much. And I just really had to step back and say, you know what? Celebrate the good.
Right.
Release the pain, keep the lesson. And so I've literally had to practice what I preach relates to that. Because just because you're a bishop, just because you're a pastor, just because you're anointed, just because you lay hands and HIV is healed and cancer's healed and all that, you do that does not exempt you from wounds.
Right. Yeah.
And at one point I thought it did.
Yeah.
I mean, God, why am I dealing with this? Like, I was good to this person. I was good to these people. Not realizing it just comes with the journey.
Yeah. And then we have the ultimate model in Jesus, who was, betrayed by one closest to him with Judas. I mean, he was around throngs of people, but he had his disciples, his 12, and one of them betrayed him. So of course, and he suffered greatly. He suffered the ultimate sacrifice. So yeah, we have our example of what life is like.
Yes. And you know what I think about that? But without Judas, we're not here today.
That's right. 100%. Judas was necessary.
Judas was necessary. I look back over those moments, and in the moment, I can be honest, I may have been hurt or pain or something like that. But then later on, I would look at it and say, it was so good that I was afflicted. Right. It was so good that happened to me. It taught me something about myself. It taught me how to, navigate differently. And can I be really honest? Let me go here.
Yeah.
The only thing that ever made me want to quit was that type of stuff. Realize that wherever you're afflicted, that's where you're gifted. And that's why they call me the people's bishop. So what area will you experience great attack? People.
Right.
Because you're really called to connect with people in a way that you were able to relate to a PhD next to a GED, next to a tatted up person, next to somebody that's with a 3-piece suit on, next to somebody that was in the club last night, next to somebody that's been walking with Jesus since, Jesus was a little kid, that type of thing.
Since Jesus was in the manger.
Yeah. They went to school with
Jesus. There's an approachable nature in you, and there's yes, you have, again, a pedigree that is quite impressive, but yet at the same time, there is such a humility in terms of your heart and being able to see people and see the thing that you stated that you are, which is good, bad, and spiritual, and be able to extract the light and bring them towards Christ. Like, it's an incredible thing, because we definitely need our leaders. We need them to be not just for one type of person. We need to reach as many as possible. Right. We are definitely in the final days of things. And I believe that, it is critical that we try and reach as many souls as possible.
Absolutely. And everything you go through, like, God doesn't waste anything.
No.
The stuff that I went through in coming up in development, et cetera, that I didn't realize is giving me an anointing or grace for those areas, and he doesn't waste anything.
Right.
Like even now, I wanted to get into politics, but now I influence the influencers. So,
Right.
we help influence who sits in those seats, which is far more powerful than sitting in that seat. And so God doesn't waste anything. And so, I look back on all of that and I say, I'm grateful for it. Realize that in the future, that comes with the territory. You're
Right.
gonna have betrayal, you're gonna have disloyalty, you're gonna have people who lie and do different things, and that just comes with the territory. And at the end of the day, you just gotta say to God be the glory, get up, keep it moving.
Yeah, for sure. And the only perfect thing that we can rely on without question is God.
Right,
Because this flesh suit is fallible,
right.
which means it is prone for error. That's what
Yes.
fallible means, prone for error. We are programmed for error.
To make
As
this-
long as we're in this, that's part of the nature of being human. So yeah, I love that. I love what you said. Okay, so we're gonna wrap things up, and I'm just
Okay.
gonna kind of fire out some
Let's
things.
go. Let's go.
Okay, so Coke or Pepsi?
Coke. I am offended at the question. No. So again, coming up in Memphis, that was what we drank in Memphis was Coke. And so I would go down to the corner store. This is what I get. I get 2 Coca-Colas because my great grandmother, she wanted Coca-Cola. I get 2 Coca-Colas, and then I get a hot link sandwich. And listen, the man would take the hot link out the thing. I can't remember the name of the corner store. He would put it in the microwave and put American cheese on it, and then put mustard on it on some white bread, and that was a hot link sandwich. But let me tell you something. You want to talk about
if you could drive to Memphis right now, I feel like you would go get one.
They're gone now, but I would certainly get something tantamount to it, something similar to it. They're gone now because I went. Last time I was there, I went. I was like, "Where's it going?"
Oh, he's gone.
He's gone.
Wow. Okay, so Coke, fine. But Michael Jackson's probably very upset because you didn't say Pepsi. So I'm gonna say Michael Jackson or Prince.
Wow. To do what?
Okay,
I want to dance.
No, fair question.
That's fair, right?
To sing.
To sing.
To sing.
Wow.
It's not easy.
That's not easy. I'm going to say Michael.
Yes, I agree.
I'm going to say Michael because Prince was a whole package. He was a performer. He's a guitar and all. Prince was a whole package. Michael, if it's just to sing, I'm going to go with Michael.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because normally I always go Prince. Like I'm a Purple Ray. Like I like songs from Prince. None of it about. Like
yes.
I hate you, Prince dear. I hate you because I love you. Most people don't even know that song, but that song is in my playlist right now.
Hilarious.
I don't hate nobody. I just like the song.
No, listen, I met Prince years ago. I had the privilege of being at one of those parties.
Were you taller or he taller?
We're the same height.
Okay.
We were looking eye to eye. I had on heels. He had on heels. We looked at each other eye to eye. But it was amazing because I got to see it. It was after I want to say it was after one of the Grammys, or it might have been after one of the Soul Train Awards. But he had performed, and there was a party, and I had been able to go. And I remember one of the most amazing things about it was watching him play live. He went from keyboard to drums to guitar to bass. He was just an incredible musician. And, we had that night, Sheila E. was there on the drums, and she scooched over. She was playing the timbales, yes. And then Stevie Wonder. It's so funny. At the time we walked in the party, Stevie Wonder was asleep in front of Prince's fireplace.
Oh, wow.
And then he woke up, and his companion who was with him, bodyguard, walked him over to the keyboard. He woke up, I guess the music woke him up, and he's decided he wanted to play, and he sat down at the keyboard and started playing. I mean, it was the most amazing experience ever. But so yes, I agree with you. If I have to just listen to someone sing, it's gonna be Michael. So my last question is, please tell me one word that describes you.
Wow. One word that describes me. Wow. Dedicated.
Mm.
I am dedicated. Whatever I say I'm going to do, I strive to do it. When I fail to do it, I strive to fix it. If I'm going to be a part of something, I'm going to give it 100%.
Mm.
Old school church used to have a song that said 99 and a half. Just won't do. Like, I'm not a 99 and a halfer. I don't know how to do that. Like, it's an off or on switch for me. I don't gray, like, 50 shades. I don't know nothing about it. I like black and white. Listen, I like
Right.
black and white. I don't even like the gray.
It's white.
Right.
It's black. I mean,
Right.
my whole background is black and white.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ain't no gray in that. Ain't no gray in that. But like, I don't know. So I am dedicated. Whatever I do, I'm gonna do it on me. And that dedication from that flows excellence. Always striving to get better. I never view myself as arrived. I view myself as a student. Every day I'm competing with yesterday's version of myself. I'm not trying to compete with any other human being. They're not running the same race I am. And so, I'm competing with myself. But then in addition to that, I am like really committed to being better. And you mentioned it, like discipline, and excellence. Those are things I strive for, but that's because I'm dedicated. I want it, when I do exit the earth, I want it to matter that I was ever here. And I want it to be known that look at the lives that were changed as a result of his dedication. And is that perfect? No. Is there perfection in that? No. Are there, all types of things to work through and deal with? Absolutely.
Yeah, that's part of being dedicated, is working through things.
Working through it. And that's me. I work through it. My loyalty is that way. My friend, my good friend, Bishop Wright.
Mm-hmm.
And he and I were chatting the other day, because he and I have been friends for 15 years. And I've watched his kids grow up. I watched his daughter grow up and all of that. And we were really talking about that. And that's one of the things he said. He said, you are, you are, I think he used that word, dedicated or consistent. Like, man, and I strive to always be that way, because I think people need to see that, especially men. I love men that I minister to, and I love speaking life into men, because there's so much beating men down, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then don't be a minority man.
Right. Yeah, no, that comes with a whole other set of burdens.
A whole nother set. But I think one of the greatest things that a man can be shown is not just told what to do, but shown how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And shown how to, make mistakes. I've made tons of mistakes, and we'll make some more.
Right.
That's to be fair. And we'll make some more.
Yeah.
But my dedication says get up, keep it moving. So dedicated would be my word.
Well, I thank you for your dedication. I thank you for your time. Thank you for your example, for your teaching, for all the ways that you give back, and all the ways you guide. This has been such an honor for me and so much fun. I didn't know I would like this.
You killed it. You killed it.
I'm very nervous. If you could feel, you can't see, this shirt is designed so you can't see the sweat that I had.
Oh, wow.
Wanting to do a good job, because I've never conducted an interview before. I've obviously been interviewed many, many times, but this was really fun for me. So thank you for allowing me to do this, and to anyone watching, just, I hope that this blessed you and that gave you a picture of Bishop Kevin Foreman. And obviously, if you want more information, there's tons of resources available through Harvest. As he mentioned before, they've been doing this digital space. They've been in this digital space long before the pandemic. But again, on behalf of the people, or on behalf of myself, I just want to say thank you. This has been a blessing.
Thank you. You did let me just say this before we go. You did amazing. I was sitting here thinking, I said, come on, look, and got the pen. I said, come on, pen. Got the pen in your hand. I said, listen, she's doing an amazing. So thank you for this. And let me just say this to you too. We appreciate, when I say we, the public at large, appreciate you and your example. It is very rare that people in your space, that they stay true to their faith and to God and to standards, and not perfection, but it's rare that you see that. And so just thank you. We appreciate you, because you are a great example that one can succeed in their craft and not have to turn on their savior. So,
Amen. Thank you. Yeah, no, that means a great deal. That's probably one of the highest compliments I could ever have. Thank you so much.
excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you. Well, hey, there we go.
All right. Well, we're done. And hopefully you guys learned and gained a greater knowledge of Bishop Kevin Foreman. Thank you so much for
The
watching.
people's bishop.
The People's Bishop.
Yes, I love the
Bye.
people.